This is DJ.
And this is Ish.
And this is
Season 6 of
Pero Let Me Tell You.
All the things?
Wait, are we already recording?
We are recording.
Okay, this one really came out of nowhere.
This one really... Well, you told me to hit the button. And in all fairness, you also told me then to not hit the button.
Oh.
But then I changed the station and tripped the channel.
Okay, I feel we need a new cold opening. This one isn't good. Or do you just want to keep this one because it isn't good?
I like that it's not good.
Okay, everybody, welcome to episode 268 of Pero Let Me Tell You.
Yes, sir.
I just guessed that correctly.
But I feel like at this point you guess knowingly.
Well, welcome, everybody. Welcome to Pero Let Me Tell You. How was everybody's week this week?
I think everybody's doing...
Is it fall?
Not officially.
Not that it really matters.
No, well,
At
it's
least
never
in
fall
Miami.
here. Yeah, unless you literally trip over something, it's not fall here.
You know, it's so annoying now when it's fall and, it's like 100 degrees still here. You see these generic nationwide sales. Fall into autumn. It's like we don't fall into anything here.
Especially not without liability.
What do you mean?
No, don't fall into things.
Oh, yes. Oh, no.
Tremendo su.
Of course, tremendo su.
Tremendo su.
Look, if you fall in your house, you cannot see yourself, people.
Yes, this is just a fact.
Yes.
Yes.
I may know a thing or two about that.
Yeah, so I've heard. So I've heard. Yes.
So, how's everybody enjoying their late
summer?
Early fall?
Yes, I think everybody's enjoying it, but I just want to give a quick shout out before we go any further to Burger Beast.
Yes.
For his 15th anniversary scavenger hunt.
Viste, el señor. El
That's what we did last weekend.
La bestia de hamburguesa.
Oh, I kind of want to call him like Hamburbestia.
Hamburbestia. Oh, Hamburbestia. Esta semana en así quedó Hamburguestia. ¿Quién se comió mi hamburguesa? Me lo comí yo, Luis Felipe.
El hambre de la Hamburbestia.
Ay, manía. Okay, go ahead.
No, I think this is what should be his next endeavor.
Let's just go. Okay, thank you to Burger Beast.
Oh, yes, thank you for putting together a scavenger hunt.
Yes, and Marcela.
Yes, and Marcela. Yes, because, we know it's Marcela.
Behind every beast.
There is a Marcela.
Yes. But we had a scavenger hunt,
yes.
And it was so much fun.
We'd never done anything like that.
Despite there was a little snafu at the beginning.
But we still won.
We had a blast. I wasn't even going to go with the whole thing we won. It was just fun. It was so much fun. Yeah. I may have violated about 20 traffic rules.
Yeah.
But
you're going to get a lot of traffic cam pictures.
Oh my God. No, there aren't any in Westchester.
Oh, okay.
If this would have been in Pinecrest, it would have been a whole different story. But in Westchester, no. But it was a lot of fun.
It was.
Obviously it was celebrating his blog's anniversary, which is 15 years for a blog. That's quite the feat.
That's a lot. I'm a little disappointed though that he did not come out of a shell in a Tool dress.
Oh. Well,
lo 15.
I mean, I would have paid to see that. But it was a great event, and again, very Miami-centric, and it was a lot of fun. I know it was a lot of work for them to put together, but it was a lot of fun. The prizes were great.
Yeah.
All the contestants were awesome. There was a bunch of teams that were doing it. Everybody was just like having a blast, and there was a lot of good energy. So
it's just cool to see stuff like that, because that's the type of thing that you see like in movies. Not in real life.
It was funny that morning because I'm always have like 25,000 things to do, and that weekend I actually did not have a lot going on last weekend, which was a very different. It was a change of pace. So it was Sunday, right?
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I have to do the scavenger hunt today. So I even put it on. my Instagram. I'm like, only for Burger Beast will I do a scavenger hunt on a Sunday. But then it was so much fun.
Yes. We also found out that one of our very good friends is apparently Google Maps.
Yes.
She was very key.
She was very good. So you never know what you find out about people when they're doing a scavenger hunt.
It's true. More people should do scavenger hunts so they can find out.
What was so fun was how competitive we got.
Yeah.
We were like, run that car down!
I'm telling you, I'm surprised there wasn't more like just property damage.
I was like, get off the car to get the next clue. Run!
Yeah, I was running in and out of the car. I think you didn't fully stop in some of them either.
No.
I may have to had tuck and rolled.
Yeah, so, no, but it was a lot of fun. So, again, thank you,
Yes,
Seth.
thanks, Seth. It was a blast. It was an absolute blast. So this week, I didn't watch them, but I know you watched the VMAs.
I certainly did.
And I did not know that they were being simulcast this year on Univision.
They were, because at the...
I found that interesting.
For each commercial break, the person speaking was in Spanish. I have to tell you, there was a huge Latin presence in the VMAs this year. What I sort of liked was that a lot of the nominees that were like Latin, like Karol G, it wasn't in a Latin category.
They just were Latin people nominated for regular
nominated best
video,
pop
whatever.
Video, best whatever.
Yeah.
Which was really cool to see. Shakira got the Video Vanguard Award, and she was freaking awesome. It was. I really liked the show this year, which the VMAs have been lacking. The VMAs at this point are a hit or miss. Whereas at one point, every single year, they kind of like outdid each other, like the year before. And it was just like bigger and bigger and bigger, because of just the demise of MTV. The VMAs right now are hit or miss. But this year, it was nice because they had a really good balance of, new current acts with nostalgia.
Okay, right.
And, by nostalgia, I mean 2000s.
Well, that's right? Nostalgia now,
But they did. They had a nice balance of acts, and I thought that was really cool. And NSYNC was there,
yes,
which was for a lot of people it's a big deal.
And by a lot of people you mean you.
That NSYNC was there?
Yeah.
No, I mean, look, it was...
because you've made no secret about the fact that you want them to tour. Like,
I do want them to tour.
Yeah.
I do want them to tour, and it's not that I'm like I was not this crazy NSYNC fan at all whatsoever. But I find that like everybody my age, music from that time is so nostalgic at this point that it's like
just do it already.
Just do it already, so we could go. Like,
well, they have a new song.
That's what I was speaking with one of our friends that she was telling me it was for like the Troll movie. And I'm like, really? This is what got NSYNC together after 20 years? The Troll movie? And it's nothing against the movie, but like, really?
Right. Like they didn't get together just to
not a greatest hits, not like
a residency.
Not like they're getting inducted somewhere.
Right.
In the Boy Band Hall of Fame. Really, the Trolls movie?
Is that Hall of Fame in Orlando?
I'm not. Well, it couldn't be anywhere else.
It's true. I'm saying.
I mean, I'm not hating on it, but it's like okay,
like this is
it.
The most unexpected way to get them together.
They need to tour, and they need to tour
sooner than later.
I mean, look, they're always going to be a name, and they're always going to do well. But I feel that most people that really were into them are in their 30s and early 40s at this point.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So now would be the time to do it because they're still young enough that they could pull it off, but they're at this point a legacy act.
They were also the high energy choreo, whereas Backstreet Boy was more like the ballads and the harmonies.
But that's why
Yeah.
their fans at this point are still, and themselves, they're still young enough that they could pull it off.
Yeah.
But again, they're a legacy act at this point. So they kind of have that sweet spot that they're a legacy act, but they're still young. So go out and do it.
Yeah. Take advantage.
Right? Because I don't care how cool you think you are, Justin Timberlake, when you're 60 dancing bye bye bye. Like if you do,
it's different. Yeah.
It hits different.
Yeah.
Not that he can't pull it off, because
but it's just going to be different.
Tina Turner was rocking into her 70s,
the
right?
Tina.
So not that you can't pull it off, but I think if they get together now, it's still the same NSYNC essence because they're all in their 40s at this point,
right?
So they're still kind of young enough that it's still not too...
From your 20s to your 40s is one thing. From your 20s to your 60s is another.
Yeah. So even 50s, So go out and do it, Justin. Everybody, they're all waiting on you, Justin.
Yeah, really. I mean, at this point, who's
Chris
the holdout?
Kirkpatrick is like, damn, Justin.
Just let me know.
Let's do it.
Just let me know when I have to grow my weird hair.
What I was thinking about it, though? They all have kids at this point, right?
Yeah. JC does not.
Okay. But most of them have kids.
Yeah.
And a lot of their kids are old enough. They have never seen their fathers
perform.
as the band.
As yeah, you're right.
That's sort of like, what?
That's so funny. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So, no, but the VMAs were really good this year. I mean, clearly, you know who was my favorite performer?
Thalia.
No. I mean, as I said on my Instagram post, Thalia was there because she was there. And it was funny because did you see when she came out?
With Fat Joe?
She came out with Fat Joe. She's like, oh, in the 2000s, we had a song together. I'm like, Thalia, nobody remembers we had a song together. I mean, I remember, you remember.
Right.
But nobody remembers.
Nobody watching this VMAs
knows that you guys had a song
together. Yeah.
I mean, but, you know, good.
Good for her.
Good. I mean, what Thalia at the VMAs.
I don't need a reason. Thalia should just go to more things.
Yeah.
Like, just have her
She
show
should go
up.
to the opening of Chipotle.
Yeah, like, just have her show
The
up.
guacamole. It's pure Mexican. Amor a la mexicana.
Why you charge extra for the walk?
Yeah.
She would have problems with that, I feel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but, you know, my favorite performer, of course, was...
Demi.
Oh, I mean,
I honestly, I don't even know who performed it other than Demi and Shakira. Like, I couldn't even tell because I just didn't watch
Nicki
it.
Minaj, they did a 50-year anniversary to hip hop. One of my favorite people ever performed, and he got a special award, which was Puffy.
Oh, okay.
You know, I love me Puffy.
You do. You've always loved Sean.
I've always loved Sean.
Yes. Play it safe. Let's go with his birth name, Sean.
I've always loved Sean, and no, there was Olivia Rodrigo apparently.
I like how you say apparently.
Yeah, because I was like, okay, the stage is falling apart.
Sure.
Right, because they made it look like the stage was falling apart, and they made it look like it was an accident.
Oh, okay.
Right,
okay,
and I was like, but good for you.
Yes, enjoy your time. Yes.
So no, it was good. Carol G also performed.
Okay.
It was good. It was good. It was good VMAs. It's just weird that it was on a Tuesday.
I think that threw me off too.
Do you remember when they used to be?
They used to be on Sundays.
On Thursdays.
Oh, that's right.
And then they moved them to Sundays.
I totally forgot about the Thursdays.
Yeah.
Like right before the weekend.
Like the VMAs in the late 90s, early 2000s was like a highlight of my year.
Well, yeah.
Like
because it mattered.
I would like count it down.
It meant something.
Yeah. It's like I remember especially during college, I'd be like, I'm not going to class today. Like, I'm just letting you know. Because I had night classes. I'm
yes. No.
I'm not going to school today.
We're going to call this a mental health day.
I'm not going to statistics today, professor. The VMAs are on.
Who would go to statistics when the VMAs were on? I mean, really? Those are my options?
Yeah. You know that they were putting, like, obviously flashbacks. I didn't realize that it was 10 years that Miley Cyrus...
Already?
Yeah. Did that ridiculous thing.
With Robin Thicke. I was gonna say Alan Thicke too. That's why I stopped myself.
It's funny because I like Miley Cyrus. I don't have an issue with Miley Cyrus. And Robin Thicke, there's songs of his that I like because he does a lot of R&B. Mm-hmm. That performance is annoying as fuck. First of all, I hate the song Blurred Lines. Actually, Blurred Lines would be in my list of songs I hate the most.
Really?
Yeah, I can't stand that song.
Now, do you hate it because it was...
the first time I heard it.
Okay.
I hated it.
Okay.
I hated it. And she sang... What did she sing?
Didn't she sing Blurred Line? No.
She had sung something before. I don't know. I didn't like her performance. I thought she looked awful.
That was also during that period of Miley.
Bangers.
Yeah, I don't know.
Bangers.
You
know what was the best song from Bangers? That song, I got 2 letters for you. One of them is F, and the other one's you. No.
No. I know she has a song with Britney on that album.
Oh, I don't know about that song. Anyway,
it's not good.
Actually, something I wanted to bring up in this week's episode that I read, and it shouldn't surprise anyone, but here we are. Do you know that Miami is considered the capital of OnlyFans?
Nothing in that sentence was surprising.
It is the city where there is the most registered.
It makes sense.
OnlyFans content creators. Second would be Vegas.
Okay, that also makes sense. Like it makes sense. And you know what? I will say, the only reason that I'm sure Vegas is not number one.
Why?
Is because we probably have more favorable taxes.
For OnlyFans?
Just in general, like we don't have like a state income tax.
Right.
So therefore, you come here, you can set everything up, and you're ultimately going to make more money because you don't have a state income tax.
It's like, really? That's what we're known for? The OnlyFans?
Well, could be worse. I'm not sure how, but I guess it could.
You and I have very different opinions on OnlyFans.
Yes, we do. We do. Very much.
We have different
and I think it mirrors a lot of just like a general difference of opinion between you and I on certain things.
Like what?
I say, you know what? Go out and have all the sex on camera. Do it. Earn the money.
Okay.
Not everybody's going to be a CPA.
I agree.
You know what?
I agree.
Do it. Own it. And here's the thing. People watch it.
Clearly they do.
No, clearly, but what I'm saying is, like, you know, I refuse to demonize the people who and I'm not saying you do, but I refuse to demonize the people who make the content when there's the demand.
Well, it's not a matter of demonizing.
No, but I'm just saying, like, you know what? Yeah, you should get paid. Fuck it. People want it. Give it to them and make some money off of it. Have at it.
Okay. I don't necessarily think that, but you know,
that's what I'm saying. Like, I know you have a very different outlook.
I just think that the amount of OnlyFans accounts that currently exist is just, it's so much. It's just so
I don't
much.
disagree.
It's like, oh, look, this person has an OnlyFans. Oh, look, this person has an OnlyFans. So to me, putting aside the content, just the fact that there's so much of it.
How do you cut through?
It's so much of it. It's like, what do you have that's so special? Oh, you're good looking. So is everybody else.
On OnlyFans, yeah.
Right. So is everybody else. Or, you know, different genres of attractiveness, whatever it is that you find attractive.
Whatever you look for, yeah.
You're not la última soda de desierto, as we're going to talk about. And I just think that, look, and it's not even from a judgmental aspect of it, because I'm not a judgmental person, and I think that there's people who are in the sex industry that are perfectly fine people, or in pornography, whatever you want to call
sex
it,
work,
whether it's sex work, that are fine people with morals and, you know, ethics and all that. I don't think that one thing has nothing to do with the other. I do think it is bad decisions. I do think it's a bad decision, because whether we like it or not, whether we disagree with it or not, that is still something that, on the most part, as a general consensus, is still looked down upon. It is, and
you're not wrong.
That, you know, when you apply for a job, they Google you. They and I understand that in OnlyFans you have a different name and all that.
Like, that's what you was just staging.
What's the saying? The internet doesn't forget. Right. So you're putting yourself out there. You know, one day maybe you're going to be in a relationship. One day maybe you're going to have kids. One day, you know, you may be in a situation where this is going to come up. And you know what? If you own it, you own it. Right. But for better or for worse, we still live in a society where that is frowned upon, and it's not looked at as like, wow, you are a tremendo entrepreneur. You know what I mean? It's still frowned upon, and I think that it is something that could lead to a lot of, like, sort of, I don't want to say complications, but it could lead into a lot of prejudgments made against you that otherwise they wouldn't necessarily do.
No, you're not. Okay, so here's the thing. You're not wrong in saying that. I just think that all of that is bullshit. You know what I mean? Because it's like, here's somebody who's making a decision of what they want to do with their life, and again, yes, maybe it becomes a situation where it's like, you know, you wake up one morning and you're like, oh, I don't want to do this anymore, and now you've got to keep going on it. But if you're somebody who's just like, you know what, this was my decision, this is what I did, and this is what I'm going to do for the next 30 years, because, you know, some people do. I mean, some people, you've got, you know, your Jenna Jamesons and your Ron Jeremy. No. What I mean is your Ron Jeremys who have turned that into a career, you know, right, in the mainstream pop culture even, right? What I'm saying is that, you know, I don't think that you should be made to feel less than. Do people do it? Yes, they do, and that's just the reality of the world we live in. But I don't think that they should be, and so that's where I come at from that stance.
Porn stars that were legit porn stars that were in, and we're talking about porn stars. But let me tell you, that were legit porn stars like Jenna Jameson, Tracy Lords, Ron Jeremy, right? That's a handful of people.
Oh, no. Yeah.
It's legit porn stars that worked for big studios.
It's a fraction of a fraction.
So now with this OnlyFans fiasco that everybody has an OnlyFans, right? So now there's nothing special about you. And yes, you are making a lot of money. You are making a lot of money and all that. But how long is that going to last?
Well, no, you've got, depending on what you're offering, you got to get in and make your money and get out.
Right. How long is that going to last? Right? Because I forget the number, but a lot, if not the majority, again, I forget the number. It's something I read one time, that the majority of porn is people consume it for free.
Oh yeah,
they go to sites where they
yes, like your
right.
Pornhubs and all that. Yeah.
Right. So how many people are going to be paying the $9.99 to subscribe for your OnlyFans?
I mean,
somebody long term, like long term.
Oh no, right. But that's what I'm saying. Get in, make your money, and
maybe
get out.
Somebody will be curious, be like, oh, I wonder what this is about. Okay, sign up for a couple of months and you're done. Right. And again, I know there's a lot of people that make a lot of money, but I feel that most people probably make a little bit of money here and there about that.
It's supplemental at best.
And it's like you are putting yourself out there. And again, it's not even about whether it's right that society judges you on this. That's not what I'm trying to say. Whether it's right or wrong that they judge you on this, the point is that they do. Right? So you're putting yourself out there for like the world to see, to make a few $1,000s. Like I think it's not something that's well thought out. I think it's something, and everybody does things, and everybody, I don't even want to call it a mistake. I just didn't think it's something that's well thought out. Maybe further down the line, you're going to come across somebody who maybe doesn't feel a partner, doesn't feel comfortable with you having an OnlyFans.
Right. Well, I mean, yeah, you've got to be upfront about that from the get.
Right. So then if that person isn't comfortable with it and you really like that person, like, now there's a thing, and again, it's not about saying whether it's not fair to society. I don't think that if you're a porn star, you're a terrible person. I think you probably have more moral values than half of our people in Washington.
That's a fair enough assessment. Yeah,
right. But it is something that society looks down upon, and you've now like really put yourself out there in the exchange for what? That's my kind of like, I don't know if it's the wisest decision in the long term.
It's just the evolution of the world's oldest profession.
And again, I just what's what I always say about The Incredibles?
If everybody's special, nobody's special.
Right.
Yeah.
So now it's like every other person has an OnlyFans.
That's where I will give you the credit. Where it's just like, if you were one of the first. Yes, you were one of the first, and you probably made more money because it was new, and you were competing against less people. But at this point in the game, it really is almost like, to a lesser degree, obviously, influencers, right? Like if you're an influencer nowadays, you're fighting an uphill battle, and because you're competing against so many other people.
I think, and maybe this is a very me reason, that I kind of about it is that for I think a lot of people that do it, and correct me if I'm wrong, it's a vanity thing. It's like I'm hot and you're gonna pay to see me, and I'm very like, to me that's a turnoff. To me that's
fair, but I think that a lot of people who are just in the porn industry in general have a healthy dose of self-confidence, let's say.
Right, but a lot of people that do OnlyFans do not consider themselves porn stars.
Well, no, correct. But the thing is that, I mean, ultimately they are. Let's be honest.
It walks like a duck,
right? Yeah,
and fucks like a duck.
It fucks like a duck, then it's probably a goddamn duck. But the difference is obviously that with OnlyFans, you control the money, which is why, as opposed to like the ones that do with the studios, the quote unquote porn actors. The studios involved, they take more of a percentage off. You make the careers.
I completely understand that. I completely understand that. But again, there's also a business aspect of it too, because if you're doing OnlyFans and you're doing like sex scenes,
right?
I'm imagine you will be paying the person that is doing the scene with you. That will be the OnlyFans.
Yeah, I mean, I don't understand how the contracts work, but yes, I would imagine.
I don't think there's contracts. I mean,
contracts in the sense of the understanding or the whatever.
So like,
right,
you're gonna come
right.
on camera. We're gonna be doing it, and like I'm not gonna get a share of this. Like, right. So am I gonna get half of your $10 a month?
Right. So or are you just going to share the video for me so I can put it on mine, and then we share
but maybe that other person doesn't have an OnlyFans.
If they're having sex with you on your OnlyFans, chances are they have one too.
Well, maybe they do, but maybe they don't. But right. So it's
chances
not,
are pretty
it's
good.
Not, I don't know. It's not even.
I'll say I think I wonder about the long term sustainability from a financial standpoint.
Again,
that's
I'm not
something that I will agree with you on.
From a judgmental point of view, it's not from that. I don't think people that do OnlyFans are bad people, are less moral, I think they're fine. I just think that right now it seems like a great decision, and right now, it's a hot take. Right. It's what people are doing now. I'm jumping on that bandwagon. I'm an entrepreneur.
Yeah, make my money, get it.
And yeah, sex work is real work, and I'm owning it. That's how you feel right now. How are you going to feel 3 years ago, 5 years from now, and it's part of the human psyche. We look back on our former selves and we're like, why did I do that? Why did I do this? And that's not to say that there are not people that do OnlyFans now that are going to own it till the day they die.
Yeah.
Right. But your life changes. Whether it's personal, whether it's career wise, community wise, your life changes, and sometimes you're in situations that it's like, maybe that's not the best path to have. And again, is society unfair for doing that? Maybe it is, but it is nonetheless a society we live in. So,
agree with an element of disagree.
Okay.
Because again, you're not wrong in what you're saying, but I just feel like, what, do you, boo, make the money, do it while you're still young and cute.
Well, I'm sure there's an OnlyFans for people that are not.
This is true. And then there's also the OnlyFans that's just, people like smushing their face in cake. And
then there's the OnlyFans you told me to do.
Yes.
About my feet.
Yes. Which, I still think you should do it.
No. I'm not going to do an OnlyFans of my feet, because even if I don't show my face, which I would never, so the inside joke, listener, is that I've always been told for years that I have very attractive feet. Like, there have people who have stopped.
Yes, for a man, especially.
And been like, you have the most attractive male feet. I think my feet are nice.
I mean, I think feet are disgusting, so I'm not the right barometer.
And one day, Ishmael and I joking, he was like, you should do an OnlyFans of your feet. And I kind of laughed it off. I'm like, and he's like, yeah, but eventually they're going to have you request that you do weird things with your feet. Yeah. And I'm like, yeah. No.
And not even like weird, but just like, squish it in bread or something. Yeah. And that's weird enough for you.
Yeah, no. Yeah.
Like, that's the weird. Like, they're not even going to ask you for like really weird shit. Yeah. They're just going to be like, put it in a cake. And you're going to be like, but it's a cake.
But it's a cake. It's a delicious cake. You want me to ruin a cake? I mean, I got mad when Steve Aoki ruins a cake, right? So, okay, well, moving right along.
Moving right along from cakes and
actually, you know what, though?
This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. Back to school time, se acabó el verano. And even your mental health challenges seem to be back from summer vacation. Did you pack lunch for the kids? Are you doing everything to help them thrive in school? How do you find balance between work and home life? Not to mention, back to school means que ya the holidays are around the corner. Stop. Take a deep breath and let BetterHelp get you back on the path to being mentally healthy. BetterHelp offers phone, video, text, or live therapist chat sessions. You pick the option that best fits your schedule. After all, it's your mental health, right? Plus, it costs a fraction of in-person therapy sessions, which is a good thing, porque those back-to-school supplies are not cheap. And as a special offer for Pero Let Me Tell You listeners, you can get 10% off your first month of professional therapy at betterhelp.com/pero. BetterHelp is already more affordable than in-person therapy, and now you can save on your first month. Look, more than back to school time, it's back to you time, and BetterHelp can help you take the first step on that path. That's betterhelp.com/pero. Thanks again to BetterHelp for sponsoring this episode.
You know what I wanted to bring up this week, because I feel that you are a little bit more knowledgeable of this than I am, right. And it's obviously something that's been on the news for a while now. So this week we heard that, regarding the strikes for the writers and the actors. As we know, they've been striking for months now, and Hollywood has literally come to a halt. This week, we heard that Drew Barrymore is resuming her show without writers. And today, Bill Maher, which I watch his show every Friday, said that Real Time with Bill Maher is coming back.
You've been going through Maher withdrawal.
I have.
Yeah.
And Bill Maher especially is in an interesting sort of conundrum in terms of the format of his show, because while his show does have a pretty large segment that is unscripted, whereas
the interviews.
Not the interviews, the panel.
Well, that's what I meant. That's what I meant. Yes.
He has a panel that they discuss his opening monologue. There's writers involved. His interview, because he has an opening monologue, then he has an interview, then he has a panel discussion, and then he has new rules.
New rules, right.
So the interview, there's writers involved because those questions are not written by him.
Right. And new rules is all scripted.
New rules, which is completely scripted and written, is one of the biggest parts of his show. So basically...
it's like the last 15 minutes,
the only thing that he could do is a panel discussion, which I love the panel discussion. It's actually my favorite part of the show.
Technically, he could do the interview, I guess.
But the reason I wanted to bring this up is, do you think, though, that we're going to start seeing this trend now of these shows not coming back without writers?
I think we're going to... It's interesting because I will start off by saying I don't understand why, for some reason, Drew Barrymore has become the lightning rod for all the hate. She's come under a lot of fire.
Well, I could understand why, though. Because she's the first one that took this route.
Yes,
and now, a day later, somebody else did too.
But yes and no, because The View has been back.
The View never
went anywhere. Kelly and Mark is still... So, I mean, she's... Todavía que tú me dijera, if there
How
was...
about the Today Show?
That's news. That's new, so that's different. Which technically is what The View falls under, by the way.
Right.
That's why they've kind of sidestepped it. But what I mean, but at the end of the day, look, The View, you can call it a news show because it falls under the news division of ABC News, but it's a talk show. I mean,
The View doesn't have writers, and honestly, you can't tell the difference.
Exactly.
And that's not to diminish the work of the writers, but
it's not a scripted show, right? So again, and Kelly and Mark has been back now for a couple weeks. So it's not like Drew Barrymore was the first que tú dijera in like this sea of everybody's on reruns, and she came back and now leading the charge. So I don't understand why she's become the lightning rod for it, because again, The View, these people, Bill Maher's coming back. Also, now like The Talk is going to come back, and Sherry Shepherd. So they're all kind of coming back. I understand why people are upset, because at the end of the day, yes, they are complying with SAG rules because they're not having anybody on to talk about a production. So I'll give you the example a couple weeks when the Kelly Ripa show came back. Jake Gyllenhaal was on, but he was there to talk about the children's book he wrote. So they're not mentioning that. So that's the line that Drew Barrymore has said, look, we're going to follow those guidelines. The problem is the writers. It's what it comes down to, which is what Bill Maher's also coming under fire for. But what I think is interesting between Drew Barrymore and Bill Maher, specifically Bill Maher's a comedian. Which means that when he tours and when he does his stand-up sets, he writes his own material. I mean, I'm assuming he writes his own material.
But doesn't he fall under that as well?
That's the part that's what I'm saying. That's the part that I don't understand where the line gets blurred, because I'm assuming that if he's writing for a show, he has to be part of the guild because that's the rules. So maybe he doesn't write for his show. Like maybe on the show he has writers, but he can write for him. I don't know where the rules are in that sense.
Well, he said that he is a writer of his show.
Okay.
He is part of the writers.
So then I guess it's just him.
So he can't write for himself.
He's going to have to be off the cuff then. He's basically just going to have to come out the gate and be like, okay, these are the 4 things we're going to talk about today, and just go.
You know what? I mean, this is really interesting from a legal perspective. I would ask, define writing.
Right, because if you jot down 3 bullet points,
right,
is that writing? Right, that's what I mean. That specifically.
So he's
with
like,
him,
okay, I'm going to talk about A, B, and C. Does that constitute define writing? Is that writing?
Well, and then that's where you get into the whole. Again, The View falls under the news division. the women have the cue cards, but they have very famously been saying that they are writing their own. They're taking their own notes, so they don't have writers. They don't have a research staff. So does that fall under right? I mean,
Right.
it doesn't because they're under the news division. So that's the way they're sidestepping it. But in the case of Drew Barrymore, I don't think she's a writer on her staff. Can she write 4 bullet points about things to talk about with a guest? And does that make her a writer on the show? It's also a situation where, yes, the writer strike and the actor strike, I'm here all for it, but there's other people on the staff. There's other people in those productions.
That's something that Bill Maher was saying.
That are being affected.
That they're being affected. Look, this is a lose-lose situation.
You're not
going to
win.
This is a lose situation because I mean, I've really read about this strike.
Yeah.
And I am 100% in their corner.
Absolutely.
100% in their corner.
SAG and WGA.
100%. And you know what? If they have to shut down the whole thing, then, fucking shut down the whole thing.
Right.
But yeah, that is true that there are a lot of people that are like not having paychecks. Among them are the writers,
but they're striking.
But there's people that
craft services,
nothing to do with this.
Costumes.
Makeup artists, costume, lighting, production, right, that are not having to do with this, who aren't getting paid.
Yeah.
And those are people that también have mortgage payments, rent payments, have to buy food, have to buy that. So it's a lose-lose situation for everyone.
The board,
The thing when I heard the Drew Barrymore thing, I said, this is going to set a precedent. And I didn't think, though, that the precedent would be like 12 hours later, Bill Maher.
Yeah.
I just think that what worries me is that a lot of shows now are going to fall in line and do something similar. And it's going to take the importance and sort of the impact of the strike. It's going to take the impact that they're doing. And the studios are going to get what they want.
I mean, yes and no, because I think ultimately talk shows are one thing. Full on scripted productions are another. I will be interested because I just found out, and I don't know the details of it, but I did find out that the late night talk show hosts have started a podcast.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Called Strike Force 5.
Yes, the Jimmies.
Yeah, and I don't know how that sidesteps things, because I know they're doing it. So I think the goal is through sponsors are going to raise funds, and then they're going to be.
I never practiced union law
to try. Actually, I know somebody who does.
Collective bargaining.
Their goal is to raise funds to then pay for pay their staff and help them out and all that. But I wonder if a podcast company is if it's running through, I don't know who does it, but let's say through iHeartMedia, is that. If you ladder it up, is that an independent production? Does that fall under WGA because they're writing? Where does all the minutia go?
Right.
And so it's very interesting, very, very interesting, and it's all streaming's fault.
Yeah.
Ultimately.
Yeah. Freaking streaming.
It is. It's streaming's fault. Because they're, on the one hand, they're putting out these, I've said it before, they put out these press releases like, oh, this show debuted to numbers the world has never seen and will never see again. And then it's like, okay, but how many was it so that we know what you owe us? Oh, well, no, we don't have those numbers. Right. Okay, wait, so either you have them or you don't.
Right.
You can't play it both ways.
Right.
But oh well.
No. Well, moving right along.
Yes.
¿Qué tienes para mí?
So I actually wanted to bring up something. It's funny, kind of following along on this thread. Well, we have started Hispanic Heritage Month as of today.
Oh, yes.
So felicidades. It's, we have to divide the month between 2 months, but so it is.
Would we have it any other way?
So it is. But I found something interesting. So, we've been talking about streaming. We've been talking about AI. Did you hear what happened recently with the website Gizmodo?
No, I can't. Do I know what Gizmodo is?
Okay. Gizmodo's a website. That's not important right now. Gizmodo has a Spanish version of their site as well.
Oh, okay. Gizmodo
en español. However, recently Gizmodo decided that they are going to fire all of their Spanish editors and instead use AI to translate their content into Spanish.
So they're going to go to a lot of fiestas calientes.
Thank you so much for knowing exactly where I was going with this. That is, to me, the epitome of the short-sightedness of this AI.
So are we boycotting Gizmodo?
Well, we should be. But it's that thing of like, well, AI is going to help. It's going to help. It's going to help. Okay, so the first thing you're doing is you're firing a shit ton of people. And then now you're going to use that because you think the algorithm is going to give the nuances of our language.
Do you know what my question about AI is, though?
Because it's not going to happen.
Okay,
it's a glorified Google Translate.
Usually when new technology arises that kind of disrupts a status quo, there is a certain amount of time for it to catch on.
Yes.
For it to sort of develop.
Right.
For it to become user-friendly, so on and so forth.
Right.
What sort of I'm a little bit weirded out about this thing is that this literally was from one day to the next.
That's exactly how it felt.
Like from one day to the next. Like one day, AI was a movie that the kid from The Sixth Sense was in.
And the next, they're laying off editors in Spanish.
Right.
Yeah.
And there's ChatGPT and all this stuff.
All of it.
I mean, that's the part that I'm kind of like, but what happened? Like, how did this? And this is not just from a standpoint of like just you and I as regular users.
Right.
We're talking about like corporations now.
Oh yeah,
this.
like Google has an AI tool that they are rolling out, to be used by agencies and everything. Yeah. I don't understand. Yeah, you're right. I didn't stop to think about that. It's just like, okay, well, this is just what we're doing now.
Yeah, because like think about. I mean, it's a little bit different, but think about like when smartphones came out. Right. Think about the first iPhone.
It had to.
The first
roll
iPhone
out.
didn't even have like, it didn't have a front-facing camera. I think.
Oh, that's true.
You can only go online. Like it was very limited. And the iPhone, the next one came out, it was a little bit more. And then the
Improved,
3G one
right.
came more, and then Android, and it built upon it until obviously we have a streamlined experience. But this was literally like Monday. Nobody knew what AI was, and by Friday, everybody was talking about AI striking. It's ruling the world. Elon Musk. We have to have a conference on it. Like,
Yeah.
¿Qué pasó aquí?
Yeah. I wish I had the answers for it. I just think that technology is at the point where it is just evolving quicker than we are.
Clearly.
And it's not going to stop. And
I promise you one thing, though.
What?
I'm never going to AI you on the show.
Okay, I'll make the same promise.
Yeah.
Okay. I think we have enough guest hosts that we can pick from.
Right.
Before we have to AI ourselves. And the time that we did the Chat GPT, it didn't do so well. It understood what we were about, but it didn't.
I think it did well enough on the surface.
Right.
Like, it's good. I think the Chat GPT thing that we did was good. Like, if you were writing what the show is about for, like, when you're looking for
Wikipedia?
When you're looking for podcasts and you need a description of the show.
Right.
Okay, it was decent.
Right.
It gave a decent description of the show, and that's it. Like,
It wasn't us.
Like, for example, I mean, the other day when we gave the last soda to this guy, to Eddie
Suarez.
Eddie Suarez, de Sumailin y todo eso, that he does the skits in like the Cubana.
Sí.
It's like, I mean, Eddie Suarez can be taken out by AI. AI cannot know.
It's not going to get it.
AI is not going to get the Y name.
No.
It's not going to get the enunciation.
No. And that's
AI is not going to use empeculia.
Oh, God, no. But that's my point about the whole Gizmodo using AI thing is like, it's going to be this generic Spanish that's going to have literally no nuances. No, there's not going to be any flavor to it. It's just going to be this like word salad of translations. And it's going to suck. And I don't think they're seeing the long term.
AI from a writing perspective. Mm-hmm. I'm only talking here about a writing perspective. One of the things that we always say about what makes a good writer, it's not only the words, it's something being relatable. It's point of view, it's experience, it's heartache, it's all these things that is what makes writing compelling.
Right. It's like going to the movies with Nicole Kidman.
It's what makes writing compelling. It's pen to paper, right? Somebody's journey, and they turn that into art or into words, whatever it may be. That is something that AI just can't do because it lacks the ability to feel.
For now.
Okay.
We've all seen Terminator 2. This is how Skynet happens.
I
keep
just
saying
wanna
that.
feel.
I wish it was that simple.
Love, feel the home that
I wish that was what we were
live in.
dealing
I
with.
mean, do you think AI could have ever captured Que Pasa USA?
God, no. I didn't even have to think about it.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No, because it needs too much context that it will never be able to pull together.
Right.
It just won't.
Especially not in the beta version.
Especially. And I mean, the budget of Que Pasa USA was like $10 to begin with.
Speaking of Que Pasa USA, last week we talked about you gave your last soda
Yes.
to Sling TV.
Yes.
For
Have you been binging it?
Okay, so this is what I do. Watch it every day, but because I know all 39 episodes of Que Pasa USA through and through, just like everybody. When I'm like logging into it, that it's coming up, I'm like, oh, I can't wait to see which. It's like Que Pasa USA roulette. It's like, oh, which episode is it gonna be today? Like, because I'm not picking it.
Right.
So it's like, which one is it gonna be? Oh, look, La Ciudadanía.
Have you seen like a good?
Yes, and
blend?
I've seen a lot of the ones that they don't air that much on Channel 2. They put, for example, the appendix.
Oh, El Boom Chicky Boom.
Boom Chicky Boom. Why was the nurse so mean to Juana?
Well, she's a nurse. She has other things to take care of.
She was so mean to her. Oh, it's a Cuban appendix. They put that one, which that one they don't put a lot. They put the one of Patria, which they don't put a lot either.
The Wiki Watchy Springs, I love.
Yesterday they had my favorite.
The garage sale.
The garage. No, that's my other favorite. They had a day with the Peñas.
Oh,
I work in the streets.
To this day, Jose and I still say that to each other.
I love.
Or sometimes we say, "I'm going to put on my bowling shoes."
I love when Pepe goes, porque mi hija va a estar pura hasta que llega el matrimonio. So good. AI can't capture
AI
that.
cannot. That's what I'm saying, guys. Like, no, don't rely on AI. AI cannot do this. AI doesn't know. No, caca.
Ahorita AI is going to be cooking.
Well, no, that it could do. Actually, no. Can we get AI to clean? I hate cleaning the bathroom. If AI could clean the bathroom, I'd be okay with it.
Like a Rosie would come in.
However they want to figure it out. I just walk out and it's clean.
Have they ever done a movie of the Jetsons?
A live action?
Yeah.
No. I wonder if they even would at this point, though.
Los Supersónicos.
Los Supersónico, that's right.
Y los
Pica Piedra.
Los Pica Piedra. Why? Because you think that just the IP for the Jetsons isn't
It's not as beloved, I would say, as the Flintstones, but also I just wonder, because the Jetsons took place in the future, if we're so close to some of the things now.
We are. Have you seen
like
that
FaceTime
meme?
and all
Have you seen that meme?
Yeah. That's why, like,
of the Jane working out in front of a TV,
Yeah.
then of them going to the doctor in front of a TV,
Por eso, there's a certain degree of like, well, we're already there.
His boy Elroy, daughter Judy, Jane, his wife.
Oh no, I want a Rosie.
He works for Mr. Sprocket, right?
Yeah, Spacey Sprockets. Yeah.
I wonder how high in the air they were up.
High enough, but not high enough to kill, because sometimes they'd fall and they would be alive. I don't know what that means, but that's what I'm going with.
So they were on a second story?
That's what I'm saying. I don't know what it means, but by cartoon logic, they fell off sometimes and they were okay.
They fell to the ground. Did we ever see the ground in the Jetsons?
We did not see the ground in the Jetsons. We did not.
Okay.
But they did put out
But it was there.
It was there. They did put out a comic book a couple years back that took a more like realistic approach to the Jetsons.
Oh, yes.
And the reason that they were so high up is because the pollution had gotten so bad on Earth that they had to just build upwards so that they're basically living above a cloud of smog.
Who wrote this?
Well, I don't know the name of the writer, but yeah.
Okay. Where do they get their vegetation from?
They probably make like a little hothouse, like with pot.
That's where they got their vegetation from?
I don't know. I'm making this up as I go along. Yeah. Too many questions about the Jetsons.
Los supersónicos.
Los supersónicos. Ya me tienes con C.
What?
You have me thirsty now.
Oh.
After all this Jetson talk that I had to create narratives out of nowhere.
Do the Jetsons make you thirsty?
Well, you know, they live in the future.
Te dan sed.
Me dan sed de...
How do you spell sed in Spanish? Is it S-E-D?
I'm going to go with yes. Because I don't know otherwise.
Okay.
I mean, it sounds like it would be that. What else would it be?
I don't know. In Spanish, it'll probably be like this really complicated word we've never heard of before. And it's
That's
like,
true. There's probably like
know.
a silent G.
Right. Like maquinografiar.
That is so many letters. I don't want to spell that.
Hola, es mi máquina de escribir. Estoy maquinografiando. And I'm like, I just thought it was typear.
I kind of like, though, how your face changes when you say maquinografiar.
Maquinografiar. Well, I mean, it's...
No, because you're using like every part of your mouth.
It has like 55 consonants and like 125 syllables. Like, what am I supposed to do?
No, I liked it because it was like your face looked like it was saying it because it was like you were using your entire face to just make it happen.
Wait, you can say vehículo, right?
Yeah.
Sí, vehículo, vehicle.
Yeah.
Okay. Carro. What are the other words for carro?
Automóvil.
Automóvil. Vehículo.
I think that's it.
Carro.
I mean, camión. It's a type of car.
They're all related. They all sound the same as the English ones.
Ah, verdad.
Car.
Car.
Vehículo, vehicle. Automóvil,
automobile. And there's no other English words for car, right?
No, you know which one I
Out
know?
of those
I know
three?
that you hate when people say la troca.
It just annoys me.
Is Tonka Trunk still around?
They are. They well, I mean, you know, they're made of metal, so they're always going to be around.
Tonka trucks?
The Tonga trucks are made of, they're metal. They're like pure steel.
They are?
Yeah, those things are not going anywhere. At least the old ones are.
Okay, well. Anyway, let's move on to our last
Now that we've talked
sodas.
about Tonka trucks. All right, so do you have your last soda?
I do have my last soda.
All right, would you like to go first, or do you want me to go first?
So have you ever heard of Ann Lowe?
I have not.
Okay, so Ann Lowe, the last name is spelled like the hotel.
Okay.
Well, is it Lowe?
I think so.
Okay. So Ann Lowe is a designer, and she actually designed Jacqueline Kennedy's wedding dress.
Oh, wow.
But nobody knew who she was. And she actually, during the 40s, 50s, 60s, even 70s, designed dresses for some of the world's most famous famous women, socialites. She had a fashion house.
Oh, wow.
And a lot of people don't know who she is.
Go on,
And
Ann.
there's an exhibit that's that they're doing this year or this month. I forget what museum it is. I should have known what museum it is, but I guess you could look it up if you put Ann Lowe exhibit. That it shows all her models and all the work that she did, and these beautiful gowns and these beautiful dresses. And you know, she is a woman of color, and she never achieved like worldwide fame.
Despite dressing all these
people, despite designing Jacqueline Kennedy's wedding dress, which is iconic. Her dress is iconic. She never received the recognition of it. She was sort of a private woman, so that had to do with it. Race, obviously, was a huge one. 60s, from what I was reading about her, she was such a perfectionist that a lot of times when a woman would commission a dress, she. And obviously she would charge X for the dress. When she would be finishing the dress, she wouldn't like it, and she would just redo certain parts or embellish certain parts even more at her costs. Because she was such a stickler to her art and to her creation that even if she had to pay for it, she would in the name of the creation. So I just thought it was very interesting that this is somebody who did such beautiful work, such important work with such high-profile clients, and she's not even that she's a household name, but she's not even somebody that's well-known within the fashion industry.
Right, ni siquiera, yeah.
So I think, I when I saw that they were doing this exhibit on her, and I read on it, and then I looked something up about her, I was like, this is well deserved.
Absolutely.
Like, even though she passed away some years ago, that she's given the recognition that she should regarding what she contributed to the world of fashion, especially as a woman of color in her time. Because this was like, I think she started in like the 40s or 50s. So, so my last soda to her.
Okay, well, that's great. Yeah, no, I mean, look, it's never too late to get the recognition you deserve.
Yeah.
So, as I mentioned, this is the start of Hispanic Heritage Month. And it might seem a little weird at first that I bring that up to then say that I'm going to give my last soda to Mattel, the toy company. But the reason I'm giving it to Mattel is because this week they announced that not only this year have they given us a Gloria Estefan doll, they're giving us a Celia Cruz doll.
Oh, wow. Mattel
is giving us and it's part of their classic women heroes line, Celia Cruz. She's wearing one of her iconic red dresses, her shoes. She's a little thicker. She's got a curvy body.
I think I saw this.
She's got the little gap in her teeth. Well, my mother reached out to me earlier this week, actually yesterday, saying like, "Ay, mira la muñeca de Celia Cruz que yo lo quiero comprar." On Mattel.com, it's already sold out. On other websites, it's still in pre-sale because it doesn't go on sale until October, and it has already been sold. It's sold out on pre-sale across several sites that I've gone to.
Wow, that's awesome.
And that just, again, proves the power of this woman, Celia Cruz. Even in death, she continues to just be this force of nature. And every time I looked at that doll, and now knowing it's sold out, it gives me such a damn sense of pride that she just continues to make that impact. It's a woman, an Afro-Cuban woman who's been dead for like how many years now?
20.
And here we are. She's still just making us look good. So my last soda really does go to Mattel because they're the ones who are creating the doll. But now forever and always Celia Cruz.
Good. We obviously we've talked about Celia Cruz 100 times on the show, and she's worthy of 100 and more. She's one of these rare. I think it's one of these rare occasions with her that I think with Celia Cruz we did get it right insofar that I feel that she was given her flowers.
Oh yes,
like I think that people, knew how special she was. Yeah. She wasn't somebody that it was after she was gone, or maybe after she was sick or old, or wasn't the Celia Cruz of it all. Right. That people were like, "Oh, how great she was." People knew how special she was.
We got it right.
How loved she was. So I think when you think about her legacy and you think about her trajectory, it gives you a sort of sense of satisfaction that she went to her grave knowing how loved she was. Yeah. And how the impact that she caused. And not everybody can pull that off. And I mean, look, I'm sure there are people who didn't like Celia Cruz, but we don't like them anyway.
Yeah, I mean, you don't count.
I mean, imagine being that person. Right? Imagine being the person who doesn't like Celia Cruz.
That's the epitome of just odd man out.
It's like, I don't believe in bullying anybody, but if there should ever be somebody who gets bullied,
we might have to make the exception.
It's the person who doesn't like Celia.
Yeah, we might have to make the exception.
Can you imagine if you're that person?
I would love to hear the reasoning.
We've said this a million times. I'm not a fan of that genre of music. I can't say I listen to that music at all. But I love her. But because she was somebody that, even if you didn't care for the music, you love the personality. Right. The personality.
The Celia persona.
Yes, you loved it. Yeah. It made you feel whole. It made you feel like home. It was genuine. Loved it, right? Because she was somebody so lovable. Yeah. So it's like, imagine being that person.
Yeah. You're the exception to being bullied. You just are.
It's like, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry that your life is so incomplete that you don't like Celia Cruz.
You're just a sad human.
Yeah. And I'm happy that especially for like our age group, that we grew up listening to her, that as children she was still very relevant. I mean, she was always relevant, but she was very active. Like she was on TV and performing and all that, because I feel that with her, she got sick, but there wasn't a lot of downtime with her.
No.
It's not like she retired and then she became ill.
She never retired, yeah.
Yeah, she never really retired.
No, she never went away, no. She was recording up until, her last album was literally recorded while she was, like, for lack of a better word, like dying of cancer.
Yeah. So, Such a shame. I mean, if you think about it, she wasn't that old when she died.
She was what, in her 70s?
She was like in her early 70s.
Yeah.
I think she was like 73. She wasn't older than 75.
Yeah.
She was young.
Yeah.
She could have been around 20 more years.
Actually, yeah, she could have been around till
She could have technically been around now.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, there was still a lot left in her. But,
Yeah.
you know, como dice friend, director, cancer schmancer.
Yep.
Schmancer.
Cancer schmancer.
So, who knew that? Como that meme, the hero we didn't know we had, but we wanted.
Fran Drescher?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who would have ever thought that with a whole writer's strike?
She has proven just, man, you don't mess with an Annie.
Nope. Well, she is from Flushing.
That's true. That's true.
And she knows how to handle those crushing scenes.
That's true. That's true. If anybody knows how to handle it, it's a girl from Queens.
Anyway, everybody, we hope everybody listened, laughed, and learned. And as always, remember to grab your croqueta, your pastelito, it's late, and your cafecito. And thank you for joining us. Today's episode, people, has been one of those that, like, you know how sometimes we tell you we record on Fake Friday? Actually, it is Friday.
Yeah.
So welcome to Pero Let Me Tell You.
Yes, almost live.
Yeah, almost live. Almost live. Pero bueno, everybody, we hope you have a great weekend. Thank you for joining us, and we'll join you next week.
All right, cuídense. Bye. Pero Let Me Tell You is co-hosted by Darian Borges and Ismaeliano, produced by Ismaeliano, and our theme, Pero Let Me Tell You Freestyle, is composed by Michael Angelo Lamleplex, the official gay guy. And don't forget to subscribe and leave us a review on iTunes.